Anyone familiar with this text? Nothing new? He rose. Nothing really. This is the hard part. Why do you come for Easter? And every year, we as ministers have to come up with something new and edgy. And it's the same story every single time. You know? You ever find that difficult? You come, you get the same text every year, and we've got to give you something engaging. So, here's my shot. Alright? If it stinks, don't come back down. Okay? It's okay to laugh. Promise. I don't take myself that seriously. So the women are going to embalm Jesus' body. They're going to put spices on him because they didn't have undertakers back then. And the undertakers in Jewish society were women. Y'all know why? What? Who are tough? No. I like it. I like where you're going. That wasn't exactly the reason that they had women do all the dirty work. They picked women because women in Jewish society were perpetually unclean because of their feminine cycle. And so, women were the designated undertaker. Men didn't touch it. Because if a man touched a dead body, he was unclean. He had to go through a whole ceremonial ritual to become clean again. It's crazy, I know. You don't do that anymore. But they didn't think about it. They got all their stuff together, they got all their gear, they're walking into the garden, they're going to embalm Jesus' body, and they went, whoops, somebody needs to move this stone. We should have brought one of those big, burly, strapping lads from town. Right? And so they get there, and all of a sudden, the stones move. I'm like, all right, that's great. But wait a minute, the stone's really heavy. Who would move this thing? So it's kind of almost like a movie. It's like, you know, you're in that suspenseful thriller part. You know, you walk in and the front door of your house is open. Do you go in? Do you call the cops? What do you do? And in their day and age, they don't have cops. So women get her brazen, they jump right on in. They go in the cave, and there's a guy sitting there in a robe. And one of the things that I love in the Bible, it's quite comedic for me, is whenever something just super scary happens, and every time the messengers say, don't be afraid. Right? It's literally like when you have a car wreck and someone goes, hey, listen, don't freak out. Don't freak out, everybody, it's going to be okay. I mean, you know, Jesus is gone. There's a guy in a white robe sitting there. You're like, whoa, who are you? What'd you do with Jesus? Right? I mean, the same idea would be this. You're going to see your loved one who's just passed. You come to the funeral, you know, to the graveyard, and the body's been exhumed, and there's a guy sitting in the hole, just hanging out. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Like, hey, what did you do with my dad? Or Grandpa Joe, or whatever. That'd be weird. So, it's ironic. And he goes, hey, by the way, Jesus, he's gone. Well, where'd he go? I don't know, near Galilee, over that way. What's he doing? I don't know. See, that's what's interesting about this text. People read this text, and for some people, they think it's sad because Jesus' body is gone, and these women, they're grieving the loss of Jesus. And I don't read it that way. I read it a little differently, because I'm a little off, I guess. But I read it, and it's exciting me. Because Jesus is on the loose. He's out there. Is he getting a tuna melt? Maybe. I don't know. What's he doing? I don't know. Did he go to see God? Maybe he did. I don't know. Is he healing people and walking on water? Maybe. I don't know. Where is he? I don't know. Do you know where he's at? That's the point. It's like one of those Stephen King novels, you know, your mind gets to imagine where Jesus is. And that's intentional. Because in the Gospel of Mark, what they're trying to do is to say that the story doesn't necessarily end if Jesus is gone like David Copperfield. What they're saying is that it's your turn to finish the end. It's your turn to finish the end of the Gospel. We're supposed to go and seek Christ. If you read the text, you realize the women don't tell anybody about Jesus. Jesus is gone. How do we know about Jesus? Well, somebody had to talk, right? The disciples, somebody had to talk. Somehow the story got out, and it got to you, and you got here. Except for the few people who grandma made you come, right? We'll look at you differently, I know, we know, right? But it's true, you got here. Somehow we get all of this and nobody told. Somebody had to tell. And that's what's interesting about this text is that Jesus is on the loose. That if you watched my 3-minute video message, some of you did, some of you didn't. We talked about practicing resurrection. And that we as people need new life. We need to be renewed again and again. Right? Man, you guys don't need church at all, do you? All right, man. All right. I need to get out of here. For the 5 of you that need new life, come see me in the back. All right, now. I think we do. I mean, there's a reason there's seasons. There's a reason that we have phases and stages in our lives. And sometimes we need to be reborn. We need to have something new again. Just like the flowers bloom and the trees bud and the birds sing, we need this chance to be made new again. I don't know what you, I do. I need that. And that's one of the great things about Easter. One of the great things about Easter is that it's a chance to be made new again because Jesus is on the loose. That resurrection is out there. See, I'm going to tell you a secret. Church people, ministers don't sell this, so don't sell it to them. God is rarely here. Now, Pastor Josh, God is rarely here. You know where God is? God's out there. God's out there. People have it backwards. We think that we come to church to have a religious experience. And sometimes we do. We do have a religious experience. But more often than not, God is out there. Think about it. How long is your week? And you come here for an hour, maybe. And the rest of your week, God doesn't show up at all. You don't schedule God like that. You don't say anything. You can't go, okay, listen, I've got between 10:45 and 11:45, God. Please make my spiritual happen now. Excellent. All right, great. I'm going to soccer practice with the kids after this and grandma's house for ham. So, hey, make this happen. You got your slot, man. Okay? It doesn't work that way. It's that God is out there. And so what we do here is not that we find the divine. Here is where we help you fuel back up, give you some directions, give you a pep talk, and send you back out there. That's what church is about. Church is about motivation to go find the divine. We have it backwards. Because the story isn't done. Jesus is on the loose. The work is already happening out there. We think the work's happening here. Nope, it's not. We come to this place for a community of faith. We come to this place, here's a good point. Why do we share prayer concerns in church? Yes, so we support each other in community. Also, we do it for this reason. To see where God's moving. When you say, God bless me, God did this, God's on the move. When you say, hey man, I really need help. I don't see God in my life right now. My kid's got cancer, or this is happening, there's an inoperable brain tumor. I mean, something like that. You go, man, I don't see God in the world. And we support one another and say, I know you don't see it right now, but I do. We got to keep believing. We got to keep finding. We got to keep searching. That's what this is about. We have it backwards. And sometimes we have religious experiences in church. I think last Sunday was a great religious experience. Many people had this amazing experience for Palm Sunday. I mean, we had a donkey in church, folks. Literally a live donkey. And we couldn't get any more exciting. But here's the interesting thing about us as people, where we struggle. You know how many of you said, Pastor John, I can't wait to do that again. Let's do that again. Let's do it just like it was. Let's just do it again. Here's the rub with Jesus. Jesus has this tendency to not do the same thing twice. How many times did Jesus walk on the water? Once. One time. How many, like, whale stories do we have in the Bible? How many times does the seas part? One. How you keep going, right? You get the picture? God just does this where he goes, hey, listen, I'm a one-trick pony. I just do one-hit wonders, and that's it. It's done. Let's do that again. No, I don't do those. Because God is not about this. We are always, because we're people and creatures of time, and we're a tradition, and we have a past, and our history makes us who we are. It's not bad. But it's something we have to work against. Because we're always going, let's do that again. And God's saying, what's next? What's next? What are we going to do? What else? What's the next thing we're going to do? What's the big thing? I'm going to go big. We're going to have 2 donkeys in service. Okay, maybe not. Okay. Somebody wanted a camel. I was like, I don't think we're into camels. Okay? But the point I'm making is this, is that we get so wrapped up in feeling good. I mean, I can't tell you the other times my wife and I have watched When Harry Met Sally. Y'all, okay. Love that movie, right? But do you watch those movies, those nostalgic movies, because you want to remember again, or you love that movie, or you want to remember the first time you watched that movie? It's about the memories. My wife would watch Friends non-stop. I remember the first time I watched this with my girlfriends. This was great. And then it's a 3-hour marathon. And I'm just like, I love her. Yes, I don't get in trouble. So it's great. None of you ever had that problem? Teach me how to do that, okay? I get stuck in Friends marathons all the time. But we do that as people because we want to remember. We want to feel good about what happened in our past. This is why we celebrate anniversaries. It's not bad. But that's not necessarily where God is. God is always on the move, doing the work out there. Does it make sense? And so the thing about Easter is, yeah, we celebrate He rose, but He rose and He got to dodge. He ran off. And He started causing trouble someplace else. If you don't read the Bible, you know Jesus caused problems everywhere He went. So if you're not causing problems everywhere you go, you're not being a good Christian. You're like, I'm good at that. I can make that happen. But that's the point. And we think that it's in here and it's out there. And so I know we've been talking about over the period of Lent, I wanted you to think about your faith. Do lots of thinking. And then I said at the end, I wanted you to do faith. But I want you to hear this for Easter. I want you to do faith. I want you to go out and I want you to be the best Christians you can be. But know this. God is already out there doing it. There's a great example of this. At the money breakfast yesterday, your son helped me with tables. And he is like 2? 5? 3 and 5. Yeah, 5. And he's still small. And I pick up the table, and he said, I'm going to help you, Pastor Josh. And I said, great. Now, did I carry all the weight? Yes, I didn't help to have the 5-year-old carry the whole table. I was CCD pastor. Like, okay, you're done. Okay? But I picked it up, and he put 2 hands on it, and he walked with me. And then he forgot and got distracted by something. And then he goes, oh, that's right. And he grabs the table again. And we set it down, and we help set it up, and I said, okay, now you pull the leg out, you put the pin in, and that's how you do it. He's trying to figure it out. He did almost no work to help me. And that's okay. That's how God works with us. God doesn't need our help, but God desperately wants our help. Because that's how God works in the world. Out there causing a ruckus, and He wants us to learn to make a ruckus too. So, as we begin this time of communion, the kids are going to come back in, and they're going to cause a ruckus. And that's good. Alright? But it's family time. It's communion time. And so as the band comes up here, hey, you got too comfortable. You know, they're into it too much. And as they begin to play, we're going to have this time of communion. And I want you to think about God on the move. That this communion is the fuel to get you to the next stop. That churches are no more than glorified spiritual filling stations. We got some snacks, we got some treats, we got some cool sunglasses now and again, and we're going to send you back out there in the world. And so, I want you to think about that as you come in. As you take communion, this is your spiritual refreshment for the week. Can you do that? Yeah. Let's pray. God Almighty, we thank you for this time together. We thank you that you cause trouble, that you're always on the move, and that you're calling us to move. And sometimes, God, we forget. We forget that church is about filling us up and sending us out, rather than about remembering all the things that you've done for us. It's great to remember, and we need to remember. But God, we need to move too. Help us as we continue to seek you out and continue to move forward as we enter into this time of communion. We ask this in your wonderful and holy name, and all God's people said, Amen.